Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to do a Tier 3 Luna Snow and Tier 3 Quicksilver CTP of Rage comparison. So I've given them both CTPs of Rage. They have nearly identical builds, aside from a couple of stats, due to just limitations on my uniforms and stuff like that. But they both perform extremely well with this team up with Nick Fury and Coulson. I did the exact same team up. My teammates are doing nothing. They're just running around and collecting orbs. And yeah, I just want to talk about how the fight went. They both performed amazingly. As I said, they both completely crushed Galactus. So if you are looking for, and actually Luna Snow does better at the beginning of the fight than Quicksilver does. If you're looking for a character to absolutely demolish Galactus, both characters are fantastic options for a CTP of Rage because they just do so much damage to Galactus. They're safe to use, they're fun to use. They're definitely high up on my list for, you know, if I just want to casually clear Galactus with OP characters, they're definitely up there. We had a couple of HP orbs pass us by because, I don't know, my teammates were sleeping or something. But yeah, Luna Snow's here first. I'll throw up her stats in the corner so you guys can take a look as the fight is going on. The only thing she's really not capped on is crit damage. And that is really just a combination of my Uru being crit rate right now because I had a CTP of energy before. So because of the CTP of energy giving crit damage, I didn't have crit damage Uru, I had crit rate Uru. And then also her uniform is only at legendary, so I'm missing that fifth option, which would give me an additional, you know, plus 1700 crit damage, which is like more than 12%. So she's definitely lacking a bit of the crit damage. She could get hit even harder. So I definitely am more impressed by her abilities based on the fact that she is, you know, almost 30% undercapped for crit damage. And you can definitely take that into consideration for your build as well, using Warwolf or something like that. But she absolutely crushes this. And if it hadn't have been for a little bit of bad timing, I would have gotten this kill right here at 2 minutes. A 2-minute solo clear is absolutely absurdly fast. Now it does hang on a little bit longer. Actually, I probably would have cleared it in 2 minutes if my teammates hadn't let those orbs gone, because that healed him at least a bar. So I probably would have been able to get the kill. We do end up getting the kill here anyways. But yeah, so that was Luna Snow. She did an absolutely fantastic job. I would call that 2 minutes. I wouldn't call that whatever it was, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Now we see how Quicksilver plays. And honestly, I had a lot of fun playing as Quicksilver. The thing I like most about playing as Quicksilver, on top of just feeling completely untouchable, because you're always in iframe or you're always, you know, you have high dodge. You're capped out on dodge, but he also has 40% guaranteed dodge, is that you build up his tier 3 fast. And then you see the tier 3, the full tier 3, when you trigger it, you see those white lines like bursting around. So he actually covers most of the arena with his tier 3. We have another teammate disconnection. So that is something that I actually really liked. Luna Snow's tier 3 kind of gets lost in the animations. Her 5th skill has a big animation. Her 3rd skill, her 4th skill have big animations. So that was something that I noticed just personally from an aesthetic point of view. I had a little bit more fun watching Quicksilver, you know, fill up the screen with white tornadoes with these cars, and also with his tier 3 skill. It looks beautiful from that zoomed out point of view where you see him and these white lines sort of rushing around the arena and, you know, going and whatever. But we also have some issues here as we did with Luna, where we have some heal orbs getting through, but that's okay. We end up triggering the proc and nailing him with a really nice tier 3 skill, and you see just like all this stuff whooshing around. It reminds me of like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, where the characters sort of fly in at high speeds and they just become the sort of like, you know, like plume of sort of wispy light of a particular color, like it's yellow if they're Super Saiyan, or it's blue or whatever. But yeah, Quicksilver does a fantastic job. I held his tier 3 skill because I knew that Galactus was leaving. And you know, he's clearing it at a blistering pace. This is on pace with my tier 3 Namor as well. Now tier 3 Namor won't have as many buffs. He doesn't get to use Coulson and Nick Fury. He has to use Ghost Panther and Shuri, so he's missing the 20% guaranteed crit. He's missing the 50% all attack, but he still does it in about 2 minutes. So this is a very, very impressive clear. And I realized with my tier 3 skill building up, I can actually finish him off here in the meantime. So we actually went for it. And Quicksilver puts down a ton of damage. So there you go. Now for the second test between Tier 3 Luna Snow and Tier 3 Quicksilver using CTP of Rage, it's not really sensible for them to fight the exact same boss, because as some of you pointed out, against Corvus, while they're both speed types, which is great, Corvus has he has 20% higher energy defense for a certain part of the fight, which does put Luna Snow at a disadvantage. Then for Cull Obsidian, of course, Quicksilver is going to be at disadvantage because most of his damage is physical and he has high physical defense. For Luna Snow, most of her damage is energy, so she's going to have a disadvantage against Proxima. And then Ebony Maw is going to have, you know, obviously much, it's going to be much harder for Quicksilver to do damage. And also Luna Snow has Mind Control, or the Charm, on her 4th skill, which makes it a lot easier for her to keep Ebony Maw from moving around and iframing. So basically, they could just both do Thanos. That would be one of the only comparable ones, but I want to do something more interesting. I want to take Luna Snow into stage 69 Ebony Maw with the same team as I take Quicksilver into Proxima stage 69, and I want to see how they do without strikers. Just their raw damage with their team and their support characters, so not, you know, they have buffs, but they don't have all of the other strikers and all of the other help. But this time around, we're going to see how much damage they can put down in 2 minutes. First up, we got Luna Snow versus Ebony, and this is really going to come down to whether I can get the timing down for her proc, for her tier 3 skill, and whether I can make sure that he is going to be mind controlled so that he doesn't move. Now, you can already see that the damage is quite good, despite the fact that I don't have any strikers. So we are already in a good position to do some serious damage. We're going to set up the tier 3 skill here. We're not using the we're not going to be using the SFX for both of them. And I know that some people are going to say, well, Cynicalex, but you know, Quicksilver does need the SFX. That's okay. He you know, we're gonna see how this goes. Kind of fair's fair, because they did quite well. And they did quite evenly against Galactus, so, you know, that's something to consider. So there's certain things that you can't necessarily avoid, and so for Ebony Maw, you're going to lose a few seconds here because of this phase, and then for Proxima, you're going to lose a few seconds to that phase at 11 bars. So this is sort of a natural, you know, this is just a natural speed bump in the stage. Now, we're going to time this so we can do 4 into the 5, or into the, sorry, into the 6, because we want him to be mind control. It's tons of damage. We actually might be able to kill him within the 2-minute time frame. So she's actually doing tremendous amount of damage. She's already done this many bars. We're a little bit early on the tier 3 skill, but let's see what happens here. We get the mind control, or the charm, and we get that going. That's nice. That was probably a little bit wasted, but we're not going necessarily for absolute perfection here. We're more going for what the realistic stage would look like. So there we missed the proc, actually, but we're at 8 bars, so we don't want to hit him because he's going to go into his next phase. We just can't avoid this, so we want to set it up properly with the... we want to be able to do the tier 3 here right after doing 4, so that we can not only guarantee the damage, but we want to be able to guarantee, like, we want to get the damage on the rage proc. We also want to be able to guarantee that he's not going to iframe. And so you don't necessarily have to worry about this when you have strikers, but we also need to play as a solo because of what that means for her. So yeah, we're just going to let it run just a little bit after 2 minutes, and we got down to 4 bars, which is really impressive. We almost got a full kill in 2 minutes of gameplay. One of the only differences between these team-ups is that Quicksilver does not get the additional team-up bonus with Coulson. So you can see here that if I put Luna Snow, she gets an additional team up, which is #1 fan, which is energy attack and attack speed. So technically Quicksilver is 5% energy attack and a bit of attack speed lower than Luna Snow for this comparison. So here we go. We're not going to pass the buff. We're just going to go right into it. And we're going to try to proc on 3 and 2. That is what I think is going to do the most damage. 4 just takes too long. And we want to be able to get that 3rd skill buff cracking. So let's crack that tier 3 skill. Looking nice. There we go. And crack the 1, crack the 5, crack the 2. We're making some eggs. You know, we're cracking eggs here. We took a little bit of damage, which kind of worries me. But yeah, let's see. It's popping off here. Not quite as much damage as I expected. But let's see if we can rattle back some with the that 4th skill, or that not the 4th skill, the 3rd skill. We just missed a proc there, so we're gonna actually have to delay this one till the next proc. But here we go. Let's get that one going. Yeah, not quite as impressive. He's a little bit behind Luna right now, I would say. We're just about to get into that sort of 2nd phase animation here. So we are, yeah, I think we're quite a bit behind. She got down to 4 bars. I think he needs the all defense down a little bit more than she does. To be fair, though, she has the cold resistance down. And this is really the only other problem with Proxima, specifically for the sake of the comparison, is that she does this spear move, and it's mad annoying. We're gonna pop 4 and then pop 5 right away. But let's see how many bars he can get down. You know, Quicksilver is doing a really good job. He did a fantastic job against what's his name? Against Galactus. So I really think there's an interesting difference between these characters, and I don't think it's as easy to note as just saying one of them is better than the other. We're definitely not going to get down nearly as far, but he still does a really good job. Now, of course, you can say that this comparison isn't fair because of the fact that Proxima might just be a more difficult boss than Corvus, or sorry, than Ebony. Mainly, you could just say that she has, you know, higher defenses. You could say that maybe Quicksilver has a little bit of energy attack on some of his skills, energy damage on some of his skills. Who knows? But this is more of a realistic approach. If you're taking the same boss, maybe, you know, you have to go to a higher level of Ebony to compensate for that. Or maybe we can just see that, you know, against Ebony, you know, Luna Snow is going to be able to push higher with the CTP of Rage, so if that's something that you really need, you can go ahead and do that. But on the flip side, on the plus side, Quicksilver can do very well against Proxima, even with a CTP of Energy. With CTP of Energy, I was able to clear stage 69 of Proxima with Quicksilver with a weaker team-up than that. I wasn't even using Coulson and Nick Fury, and he was able to do it with at least a minute left. It's an easy clear, it's a fast clear, it's safe because he has that high dodge, and so, you know, it's difficult to compare two characters like this when they're so different. One of them is physical damage, one of them is energy damage, one of them has charm and cold resistance down, the other one doesn't. One of them has extreme value for PvP, the other one doesn't. I can definitely do more tests, and we can also test to see if Quicksilver can do PvP like Captain Marvel does, or sorry, not Captain Marvel, like Jean Grey does and Captain Marvel doesn't with the CTP of Rage, because he could join that very elusive group of characters who you can build for PvE, and they can still do really well in PvP. I'm not sure, but I think it's a really interesting way of viewing these two characters. Do I honestly think that you should give a CTP of Rage to either Luna Snow or Quicksilver? That's where I sort of start to hesitate. If it wasn't for Galactus, I would say no. Because I honestly think that these characters are, I mean, Luna Snow can do pretty much everything else besides Galactus with a CTP of Energy. And Quicksilver is so good in PvP with a guard break immunity Obelisk. So I wanted to make this video to show you guys that they're both absolute powerhouses and monsters with a CTP of Rage, but also to leave you with the question of, do they really need it? And that's the question that I find myself asking more and more. Although I have, you know, 15 odd CTPs of Rage, I often ask myself that question as well, and I end up, in some cases, moving CTPs of Rage off of characters, as I'm probably going to do for Quicksilver, mainly because I just like the way he plays with a regular Obelisk, and I have his regular Obelisk saved just for that reason alone. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching the video, and of course, I will see you in the next one. Take care.